Hey everybody, welcome back to another anime review. My name is Miasma, and tonight we are talking about the 2018 series Kokkoku. And that's how I'm gonna pronounce it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But Kokkoku came out in 2018, and it is by Studio Gino, a studio I had never heard of before. But more recently, they did Golden Kamui, which I know was pretty popular. And upon digging into them a little bit, I found out that most of their staff used to be on Manglobe. And that kind of makes sense because the show sort of looks like a Manglobe show. Um, Also, like, kind of like elements of like IG kind of stuff. Like, I initially thought that it was like former IG animators, but I see some Manglobe in here. If you've seen like Samurai Champloo or stuff like that, it's a good looking show nonetheless. But if you haven't heard of it, Kokkoku, it's 12 episodes long. It is about this girl named Juri who is. She's failed a whole bunch of job applications. She's like early 20s, I'd say, if not like later teens. I think she's like 19 actually. Um, but she's failed a whole bunch of job applications and stuff like that. Her life is seemingly out of control, even with her family and stuff like that. She's got this brother who's sort of like a loner and just like plays video games and stuff like that, almost like hikikomori kind of. And her dad, who's kind of like aloof. So her life seems to be sort of spiraling out of control at the moment. And then, on top of everything, her brother actually gets kidnapped by this cult group. And after that happens, we hit the gas pedal a little bit here because it turns out that her grandfather, who they don't name in the entire show, they just call him grandfather, has this stone that gives members of their family the ability to stop time and enter a world called stasis. And while that seems kind of confusing enough, there's also other people that have this ability. Surprise, it's not just Jerry's family. And they are actually after Jerry's family for various reasons that I don't want to spoil. But so not only are they able to enter this world called Stasis, stop time, and then they can freely walk around in it. Different people have can awaken different abilities within Stasis, albeit like teleportation, stuff like that. That they I don't think that they can't really do in the real world. And there's also these monsters, these entities called handlers, and I don't really want to go into too much detail about them. They're also a pretty big hindrance in this world, in terms of trying to survive in it. So a lot of it is about exploring this stasis world, this really really interesting concept of what would it be like to be able to walk through stopped time. A concept that I have thought about very little in life. I've always thought that the ability to sort of like slow down time or make like infinite. I guess this would be what I was talking about, like making like infinite time. There's never enough time for things. There's never enough time to watch everything you want to watch. There's never enough time to play every game you want to play or read everything you want to read. Do everything you want to do in life. And in stasis, time is stopped. So it's a very interesting concept in my opinion, and there aren't really any shows that I have ever seen that cover something like this. So just for that, Kokkoku, right on the nose, was very interesting, and I'm glad that my good friend Warp, kind patron, by the way, I do have Patreon. If you like what I do here, please check out the box down below. You can recommend me stuff to talk about in a video in the future. But back to Kokkoku. This series, it was interesting. Let's talk about what I liked. I love the concept. I like the animation, as I mentioned. I like the powers that people can have in this world. It had some interesting like action sequences, and combining that with its good animation, that's just a good pairing right there. My favorite thing, though, about this, and this might surprise people because you know me, I think normally I'd say the powers are the coolest thing, right? Because Miasma likes some anime powers. However, I'm also really big into characters, and I usually like character-driven stuff, and Shuri is an awesome character. Like, she's a strong female lead, which I think we don't get often enough in shows. Yeah, she like starts off like I mentioned that she like has like failed a bunch of job interviews and stuff like that, but she really gets stronger as this series progresses. And actually, as I thought the series overall was getting weaker, she as a character got stronger. I was impressed by her actions and her motivations as the and sort of her like mentality as the show progressed. She becomes a little more assertive, stronger person, I would say. And she's just a likable character, you know. She's kind of funny when you need her to be. She's strong when you need her to be. She feels pretty real, which are all things that like I really like in a main character. As for her like supporting cast, they're okay. I like the grandfather. The brother is all right. Oh my god, I did not like the father. Is just like like he just I almost wish he like wasn't around. He's okay. He doesn't. I don't think he really like added anything. He didn't like add enough to the show. I don't think. And in terms of like there's also this other character named Shoko who is tied into the cult that kidnapped the main character's brother, Juri's brother, Makoto, I think his name is. But Shoko is this other female character in the series who gets a little exposition of her character herself. I wish she got a little more screen time than she did. But yeah, I mean, I get it. She's not really like the MC here. It's more about Juri. But yeah, so had some strong characterization, but really weak with other people. And I guess in a 12 episode series, that might happen, and it did. And like overall, what I really want to say is that I loved the just the concept of this world and how unique it is. Like I feel like in the future we're gonna like look back on Kokkoku, the people that have seen it, and it's gonna be one of those like hidden gem kind of shows. Like it's gonna be like what I consider like Wreck and Gungrave, in my opinion. Warp is gonna hate that, by the way, the guy that recommended this, because he did not like Gungrave, and I'm pretty sure he likes this show. So for me, uttering those two things in the same sentence, I just triggered him. But I think it's gonna be something that not a lot of people talk about, that deserves some more attention. Now, that being said, now that I've been as nice as I can be to it, let's talk about some of the issues that I had. Okay. So I said that I was impressed by like the beginning of the series. I didn't really like this like the second half, or like the last like I'd say like 4 episodes of the show. This show gets kind of weird. Like once you get into like villain motivations and like more about like the monsters that are in this world and stuff like that, as cool as that might sound, and I was eager to find out more about both of those things. When I found out more about those things, I was kind of let down. And that's as close as I can come without, like, spoilers. But, like, the main villain, I don't think he's a very strong character. I don't like his reason for doing what he's doing. And I kind of don't like how they, like, wrapped up his sort of story arc. I thought he was kind of a lame villain, and kind of not a very good balance with how cool the main character I thought was. My biggest issue, I'll also say this, everybody really likes the OP of the show. I wasn't that into it. I don't know, maybe, but that's like a personal preference thing, I suppose. Some of the background music was alright, but the OP, I find it skippable. But my major gripe with this was it has this weird, like, sort of Deus Ex Machina conclusion, or like event that happens right before the actual like conclusion of the show. Like it leads you to believe that like that like the events are playing out this particular way with certain characters. And then all of a sudden this other character comes out, and it's you know, it's like that really, what's her name? Is it Kaguya in Naruto? Somebody's gonna tear me apart for not getting the name right. And she just like pops out and it's, by the way, I was referenced in like an early episode like once, and here I am now. And changes some of the stuff that's happening towards the end of the story enough to kind of bother me a lot. Like, it just, I mean, it's not that it's like a bad ending. Like, in fact, it's actually in terms of like, if you're rooting for events to go a particular way, and if you're rooting for particular characters, you're like, oh, okay, that's cool. But I mean, I don't really watch a show to say like, oh, that's cool for that character. Like, I'm willing to watch the show to see how the story plays out, and if it plays out in a manner that makes sense. And while it's not like, you could argue, I feel like, that the ending of this series does like make sense. Like, it's not completely like non sequitur or like out of left field. It's getting there. It's like if it's not in left field, it's like the shortstop like backing up, like he's in the grass, like he's starting to get into that left field territory. But I don't want that to dissuade people. The ending is not always paramount, by the way. And this is not. There are way worse endings to shows. Like, don't let me saying that stop you from watching the series, because I do think that this is a series that people should at least stream. Give it a stream, see if it's for you. I don't really think it's worth a buy. I don't think it's something that I would necessarily watch over and over again, which is usually a criteria that I would put on my list for purchasing a DVD or Blu-ray or whatever. But if you do have Amazon Prime, you can check this out on there. I watched it in the sub. The sub voice acting seemed pretty good. Then again, I don't speak Japanese. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere else. Usually I think Amazon keeps like a tight lid on that kind of thing. But yeah, you can check it out on there, or you know, watch it wherever the hell you want to watch it, because I'm just giving you a legal solution to this. But we all know that people are going to watch anime wherever they want to watch it. And that's fine. If you're enjoying what you watch there, you're enjoying what you watch. If you're enjoying what you watch here, please leave me a comment down below. Yeah, you know what, leave a comment. Yeah, I meant to say, please hit that thumb up down. Oh my god, please like the video. And then if I can enunciate more, please check out my Patreon if you can. And tell me down below what you guys thought about Kokkoku if you've seen it. Do you agree with me that it's gonna kind of go down in the future as sort of this like hidden gem type of show that not a lot of people talked about but deserved more attention? Or did you just flat out hate it? You didn't really like it? If you know any other series that are sort of like this, let me know about it, because I'll definitely put it on my list in the future to check out. Thank you again to Warp and all of my other patrons, and I can't thank you guys really enough. You guys really motivate me to do what I do, and you get me to watch a good amount of good shows. Some shows that I don't like, but this is not one of those. But yeah, thank you so much for supporting me. It really means a lot. And thank you all so much for watching. My name is Miasma, and I'll see you next time.